Hey everyone, this is Yami, your Latina next door. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have October's Look for Less challenge, and it's also the last Look for Less challenge for 2020. If you're not familiar with the Look for Less challenge, it is a challenge that I host every single month with a different co-host. This month's co-host is Lisa over at Lisa Birmingham. Make sure to check out her channel. I'll have it linked in my description box once you're done with this. Now, the Look for Less challenge is a challenge where we ask you to recreate something from a high-end home decor store for a whole lot less. There's a playlist in my description box where you can add your videos if you participated this month, as well as where you can go to find a ton of inspiration from other YouTubers on here. Now, this month we told you that you were able to do any kind of home decor piece or something for the holiday season, since this in fact is the last one this year. So I came up with something for Christmas. Before I start, make sure you subscribe if you love home decor and DIY on a budget, and as always, like this video if you enjoyed it. All right, let's get started. Now, my inspiration for this month's Look for Less is this flocked tabletop tree from Ballard Designs, originally priced at $119. The tree is beautiful, but at that price, I'd rather get a full-on 7.5-foot tree. However, I was inspired and I decided to recreate it. So the first thing I needed was a base, and I picked up these 2 gift boxes in the holiday section over at Dollar Tree. For this video, I only made 1 tree, but the plan is to actually make 2. So the first thing I did was grab these jumbo popsicle sticks and measure the size of the height of each of the little boxes. This is going to be, of course, my little crate. I use my miter shears for this, and it made the process so much easier. Next, I simply use hot glue to attach those pieces on to the little box. I started with both of the vertical sides first. I did have a little piece of sandpaper on hand in case I had any splinters or any sides that were rough, and I gave it a quick sanding before putting it on the box. Once the 2 vertical popsicle sticks were attached, then I measured the horizontal ones and cut them down. And I use hot glue in order to adhere it on as well. This will create that little frame look on the sides of the crate, and you want to remove any excess hot glue that might have seeped out from underneath the popsicle sticks. You're going to then proceed to do this to all 4 sides. Once your square frames are done, then you're going to want to focus in on creating that sweet little X on the side of the crate of the original tree. Now, again, we're going to use popsicle sticks. We're going to use 1 complete one diagonally and then 2 smaller ones across. And this is real simple. You lay the popsicle stick diagonally across the face of one side, making sure that both edges are on the inside of that square. Mark it, and then with the miter shears, cut them down. And the cool thing about those miter shears is that you can adjust to any angle you need. Unfortunately, I did not realize that I was outside the frame when I was cutting them down. Now, you do want to take your time on this in order to make sure that your X is nice and straight and centered as much as possible. Once the crate has all 4 of its sides with the crosses done, you'll want to take some white chalk paint, and I'm using my White Adirondack by Folk Art. And you're going to want to paint absolutely everything, making sure you get all of those crevices and creases between the X and the outer frame. Next, we're going to use the Rust-Oleum Chalked Age Glaze. Now, you've seen me use this before to create a wood grain finish, but today we're actually using it as a glaze. And what you're going to do is take a lint-free cloth and wipe that glaze all over that previously painted white chalk paint, making sure you get all those nooks and crevices in order to create dimension. You can apply this as light or as heavy as you like. Then once you're done rubbing it all over the surface, you're going to want to take a paper towel or another lint-free cloth and wipe away the excess. Now after I wiped away the excess, I did notice that I wasn't getting as much shadows as I wanted around the X, so I took a very small painter's brush and I made sure to get right in there and then remove the excess, and I think that did the trick. So after you're done with that, you're going to set that aside to dry, and you're going to pull one of these Dollar Tree Christmas trees that look like little Charlie Brown trees, which I thought would be perfect for this since the original was a little sparse. Now you see me here fluffing it, however I ended up kind of shifting a few branches because what I did next was add some jute around the trunk. And the reason I did this was because the original had a very obvious brown trunk going up the center of the tree, and I wanted to create that same look. This added a little bit more dimension and a little bit more width to the tree, so I thought this would work better than just leaving it like it was. I cut and glued each section separately between the branches. Once that was set and glued, I took some Java brown chalk paint and began to paint over that jute to make it look darker, just like the original piece. As soon as that was dry, I put the little feet on the actual tree, took it outside, and then got some of Dollar Tree's faux snow and began to spray over the tree to give it that flocked effect. Now, since the inspiration piece is kind of a Charlie Brown tree where it doesn't have a lot of branches, I will say there is a way that you can add more to your tree to make it fuller, and I actually have another video with my original farmhouse Christmas tree DIYs from Dollar Tree. It's actually one of my most popular blog posts on my website with over 106,000 repins on Pinterest. I'll link to that below, that way you guys can check it out if you guys want your trees to be a little fuller. So once the snow had dried, I brought the tree back inside and began to cut part of the little feet off so that it would still stay stable but fit inside of the little crate. Now the tree sits a little bit too low inside of the crate, so I decided to take some floral foam to give it a little bit more height, and I went ahead and glued it to the bottom of it, but it still wasn't as high or as stable, so I decided to take this small piece of wood that I had on hand and glue it right on top of that foam, and that gave it a little bit more stability and a teeny bit more height. I ended up cutting smaller pieces of foam to put between the little tree feet. That way it actually held it in place and it wouldn't start turning and shifting. I use hot glue as well in order to keep those secure and in place. Then finally, in order to cover that foam, I took some leftover Dollar Tree moss that I had on hand and I began to glue it all over the bottom to hide any of that foam and the feet as well and make it look nice and finished. And here is how it turned out. I love how this tree turned out. That little crate is absolutely adorable. I love all of the dimension that it has, the flocking, as well as adding that jute to give that little trunk a little bit more depth. And as always, we need to see how we did. The original was $119 over at Ballard Designs. Mine actually only cost me $3. I needed to get the box, the snow, and the tree. However, if you were to buy all of the items that you needed for this, it would cost you $7 to recreate it. Thank you so much to everyone who's participated this year on these Look for Less challenges. I cannot wait to see what everyone recreated this month. Thank you again to Lisa for co-hosting with me this month. Make sure to check out that playlist. There's going to be a ton of inspiration. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe for more videos like this. I'm actually going to go ahead and put some more right on the screen for you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, adios.